Hello students, I hope you all are doing well today. So today we are going to discuss the second topic of this week, which is use a consistent point of view. When I say use a consistent point of view, what I mean to say is you should be using your verbs and your pronouns consistently. So we'll be talking about two things. We'll be talking about consistency with verbs and we'll be talking about consistency with pronouns. I've been teaching English composition for last more than a decade, and the thing I have checked so many write-ups of the students. One mistake that I have got quite frequently is that students switch their tenses unnecessarily. For example, if they are saying something in past, all of a sudden in between they start using present tense. Or if they are using present tense, they are saying something in present, all of a sudden abruptly they start using past tense. So that is what I mean when I say that you should not switch or shift your tenses unnecessarily. So that is consistency with verbs. So it says, do not shift verb tenses unnecessarily. If you begin writing a paper in the present tense, do not shift suddenly to the past. If you begin in the past, do not shift without reason to the present. Notice the inconsistent verb tenses in the following example. Now see this example. The first sentence is incorrect. The sentence is, the gardener breaks up the hard earth with a shovel, added peat moss and other compost, then blends the soil evenly. If you see this sentence, you might have thought something is wrong with the sentence. If you see the gardener breaks up the hard earth with a shovel, the first verb that we have used is present. Second one, added. So this breaks and added. So your verbs are not consistent. You started with present verb and all of a sudden you have shifted to the past verb. So how can we make this sentence correct? There can be two possibilities. One, the gardener breaks up the hard earth with a shovel, adds peat moss and other compost, then blends the soil evenly. Now what you have done here, you have had all the verbs in present. Okay, so instead of having one in present and the other one in past, what you have done, you have got all the tenses, all the verbs in present. The second possibility is, the gardener broke up the hard earth with a shovel, added peat moss and other compost, then blended the soil evenly. Now in this sentence, you have kept all the verbs in past. So you can either keep all the verbs in present to have this consistency with verbs, or you can have all the verbs in past. Instead of giving you a lecture or explaining you a lot, let's have some activity. Let's have some exercises, some wrong sentences, and let's see if we can correct them. So it says, make the verbs in each sentence consistent with the first verb used. Cross out the incorrect verb and write the correct form in the space at the left. So what you have done, you have to keep your verbs consistent, but which verb? You have to keep second verb consistent with the first verb. That means if you have started with past tense in your sentence, you will keep it in past verb. And if you have started with present tense, with present verb, then all the remaining verbs would be in present. So if you see here, Aunt Flo tried to kiss her little nephew, but he runs out of the room. So here we have started with past tense. Aunt Flo tried, which is past verb, and then but he runs, which is present. So if this is past, this verb has to be in past. So the correct sentence would be, Aunt Flo tried to kiss her little nephew, but he ran out of the room. Now what I'll be doing, I'll read the sentence and I'll keep quiet for 10 seconds and I'll let you guess what should be the correct sentence, and then I'll tell you the correct sentence, and then you see whether you have understood the things or not. Now first sentence is, an aggressive news photographer knocked a reporter to the ground as the movie stars arrive for the Academy Awards. So you've got two verbs, knocked and arrive. So I'm quiet for 10 seconds. Read it again and see, what do you think should be the correct sentence? Okay, so I hope you have guessed. Correct sentence would be, an aggressive news photographer knocked a reporter to the ground as the movie stars arrived for the Academy Awards. So first verb is knocked, which is past. So second one, arrive, has to be past. So it will be arrived. Let's move to the second sentence. The winning wheelchair racer in the marathon slumped back in the exhaustion and asks for some ice to soothe his blistered hands. I'm quiet for 10 seconds. Okay, so the correct sentence would be, the winning wheelchair racer in the marathon slumped back in exhaustion and asked for some ice to soothe his blistered hands. So first verb is slumped, which is in past. Second verb is asks, which is in present. So we'll turn it into past, which would be asked for some ice. 3. George Washington won his first battle when he defeats the Hessians in Trenton, New Jersey. This one is simple. George Washington won past his first battle when he defeated the Hessians in Trenton, New Jersey. 4th, Charles Conrad and Alan Bean landed on the moon in 1969 and gathered rock samples, which they bring back to Earth for examination. So the correct sentence would be, Charles Conrad and Alan Bean landed past on the moon in 1969 and gathered past rock samples which they bring present, so which they brought back to Earth for examination. I'm sorry. 5th, John Steinbeck wrote his masterpiece The Grapes of Wrath in 1939, but he does not win the Nobel Prize until 1962. Correct sentence would be, John Steinbeck wrote his masterpiece The Grapes of Wrath in 1939, but he did not win the Nobel Prize until 1962. 6th one, Galileo 1564 to 1642 did not invent the telescope, but he improves upon it in order to observe the heavens better. Again, a very simple sentence. So first verb is did not invent, so that means in past. Second one, but he improves, which is in present. So Galileo did not invent the telescope, but he improved upon it in order to observe the heavens better. Seventh sentence. Ralph ripped open the bag of cheese puffs with his teeth, grabs handfuls of the salty orange squiggles and stuffed them into his mouth. Now see the verbs here. Ripped open, past. Grabs, present. Stuffed, again past. So we have to have all the verbs in past. Correct sentence would be: Rolf ripped open the bag of cheese puffs with his teeth, grabbed handfuls of the salty orange squiggles, and stuffed them into his mouth. Sentence 8. From this perch high up on the rocky cliff, the eagle spots a white-tailed rabbit and swooped down towards his victim. So, what are the verbs? First one, the eagle spots, present. Second one, rabbit and swooped, past. Since our first verb is in present, so the second verb has to be in present. So the correct sentence would be: From this perch high up on the rocky cliff, the eagle spots a white-tailed rabbit and swoops down towards his victim. Sentence 9. An American physicist was the first to measure the speed of light accurately when he calculates it at just over 186,000 miles per second. Correct sentence would be: An American physicist was the first, past, to measure the speed of light accurately when he calculated, not calculates. So calculates is in present, so it has to be past. Calculated it at just over 186,000 miles per second. The last sentence is: When the great earthquake struck San Francisco in 1906, the entire city burns to the ground in less than 24 hours. Again, I think it's very simple. Which one is the first verb? This one, earthquake, struck, which is in past. Second one, burns, present. So the first verb is in past, second one has to be in past. So when the great earthquake struck San Francisco in 1906, the entire city burned to the ground in less than 24 hours. I hope you might have understood this. It's very simple. It says consistency with verbs means if you are writing something in present, be in present. Do not shift tenses to past unnecessarily. If you are writing something in past, remain in past. Do not shift your tenses to present unnecessarily. Keep in mind, I'm saying unnecessarily. That means if you are writing something in present, that does not mean that you can never use past tense. You can use past tense if you want to say something about the past. You're writing something in present and all of a sudden you want to say something about the past. So of course you would be using past tense. But if you're writing something in present, you're talking about present and you are using past tense to describe present tense, that is where you are wrong actually. Likewise, when you are writing something in past, remain in past. Do not shift your tense to present unnecessarily. Yes, if it is needed, you can turn back. But if you want to say something in past, but you're using present tense to describe past, again it would be wrong. So the rule is that do not shift your tenses or your verbs unnecessarily. Do not switch your tenses or your verbs unnecessarily. When you're saying something in present, write in present. When you're writing something about past, be in past. I hope you must have understood. Okay, so let's move back to the second topic of today, which is consistency with pronouns. So you have to be consistent with your verbs. At the same time, you have to be consistent with your pronouns as well. We keep shifting pronouns unnecessarily. Let's see what it says. When writing a paper, you should not shift your point of view unnecessarily. Be consistent in your use of first, second, or third person pronoun. So you all know first, second, third person pronouns. First person pronouns are I, my, mine, me, and plural we, are, us. Second person pronouns are you, singular as well as plural. Third person pronouns are he, his, him, she, it as singular, and they, their, them as plural. Now, any person, place, or thing, as well as any indefinite pronoun such as one, anyone, someone, and so on, is a third person word. For instance, if you start writing in the first person, I, do not jump suddenly to the second person, you. It will, of course, make your reader confused. Or if you are writing in the third person, they, do not shift unexpectedly to you. Look at the following examples. Now these are inconsistent sentences and then they're consistent sentences. First sentence is, one of the fringe benefits of my job is that you can use a company credit card for gasoline. Now see your pronouns. One of the fringe benefits of my job is that you can use, if it is my job, how can you use company credit card? So the most common mistake people make is to let you slip into their writing after they start with another pronoun. So consistent would be, one of the fringe benefits of my job is that I can use a company credit card for gasoline. The other sentence is, though we like most of our neighbors, there are a few you can't get along with. See, we and then you. So in the same sentence, you have shifted your pronoun from first person to second person. So the writer begins with the first person pronouns we and are, but then shifts to the second person you. Correct sentence would be, though we like most of our neighbors, there are a few we can't get along with. Now see all these pronouns, we, our, we. So all first person plural. Okay, so they all are consistent. Okay, so instead of explaining it further or giving you a lecture, let's do this exercise. Cross out inconsistent pronouns in the following sentences and revise with the correct form of the pronouns above each cross out word. Example, when I examined the used car, you could see that one of the front fenders had been replaced. I, you. So if this is I, first person, it has to be consistent. So when I examined the used car, I could see that one of the front fenders had been replaced. Let's do the exercise again. I'll stop for a while for 10 seconds after the sentence and I'll give you an opportunity, a chance to come up with the right sentence. Many people are ignorant of side effects that diets can have on your health. Many people, your health. What do you think? Yes, you're right. The correct sentence would be, many people are ignorant of side effects that diets can have on their health. Many people, their health. 2. I'm always nervous when the dentist examines my teeth because you never know what she'll find. So, what could be the right sentence? So, the right sentence would be, I am always nervous when the dentist examines my teeth because I never know what she'll find. 3. It is expensive for us to take public transportation to work every day. But what choice do you have if you can't afford a car? So, what would be the correct sentence? Yes, the correct sentence would be sorry. It is expensive for us. You have started with first person plural for us. It is expensive for us to take public transportation to work every day. But what choice do we have? Us do we have if we can't afford a car? 4. During the border crisis, each country refused to change their aggressive stance. Correct sentence would be during the border crisis, each country refused to change its aggressive stance. Each country, its aggressive stance. 5. If you go to Chicago, one should visit the Art Institute. I think it's very simple. If you go to Chicago, you should visit the Art Institute. 6. We don't have enough money to travel to Egypt, but you can learn about the pyramids on the Discovery Channel. Correct sentence would be we don't have enough money to travel to Egypt, but we can learn about the pyramids on the Discovery Channel. 7. Maria loves algebra problems because solving them gives you a sense of accomplishment. Again, it's very simple. Maria loves algebra problem because solving them gives her, Maria, give her a sense of accomplishment. 8. It's hard for us to pay for health insurance, but you don't dare go without it. So the correct sentence would be it's hard for us to pay for health insurance, but we don't dare go without it. Us, we. 9. People often take a first aid course so that we can learn how to help choking and heart attack victims. People often take a first aid course so that we. Now we is a pronoun, and a pronoun is used instead of a noun. And what is the noun? The noun is people. So you cannot use we for the people. So people often take a first aid course so that they can learn how to help choking and heart attack victims. And the last sentence is there are several ways you can impress your new boss. For example, one should dress well, arrive at work on time, and complete tasks efficiently. The correct sentence would be there are several ways you can impress your new boss. For example, you, second person. For example, you should dress well, arrive at work on time, and complete tasks efficiently. I'm sure you must have understood it. It's all very easy. So today we have covered these two topics. I've tried to explain it in the simplest possible way, and they're very simple things. I'm sure that you must have understood. However, if you don't understand anything, listen to this recording again, and please go through the notes that I have already placed on the LMS. First go through those notes and then again listen to this video lecture. I'm sure it would have clarified your concepts. If you don't understand anything, we are always in contact. You can just send me a message on our WhatsApp group. You can make a call. You can you can email me, and we'll be in touch. So that's all for today. I'm sure you would have understood these all things. Thank you very much. Have a good day.